to see. I'm like, Rod Hayes, Billy Hayes, Rod Hayes, Billy Carson. I'm like, oh, this is a good thing to see. So it's dope to see y'all brothers everywhere out there representing with the knowledge. But tell me what's your thoughts on what Terrence Howard was kicking on Joe Rogan?
It's funny you would bring Billy Carson up because I was scrolling on my messages. Somebody sent me in my inbox that Terrence Howard's science was confirmed by Billy Carson.
Yeah, I seen that video. Yeah.
Look,
he mentioned Terrence Howard mentioned Billy Carson too in the video. He mentioned him too. So I know
watch this. Remember, I told you in multiple past lives, Billy Carson was my big brother who turned me on to science.
You said that, yeah. You said that.
What Clarence Howard talking about is the stuff that was a basic conversation between brothers a long time ago, but the science level is higher than most people have broke through yet. So you telling them old science, but it sounds new.
Right.
And so Billy is like when he said that we don't know what race nobody was. It's not that we don't know what race they was. We wasn't shades of brown. Right? When we talk about pre-Adamic history, we weren't shades of brown like we are now. From the darkest of chocolates to the lightest of vanillas, we were not those shades because our chemical composition was altered by Earth being shifted from its original orbit of the sun. Right? When that happened, that changed the biochemistry, it's changed the atmosphere structure, and this one of the side effects is the magnesium in the biology was replaced with copper and iron. Copper and magnesium together gives you a shade of green to baby blue hue. Whereas now with the iron being the base, then now we rusting instead of oxidizing. And so the rust is giving us these shades of brown interacting with our melanocytes. But before, just like the trees, our blood was looked like chlorophyll. Right. It don't look like chlorophyll no more because the biology of the organisms that pump the blood has changed. But there's key components in the blood like the plasma. The plasma has never changed. That's the carrier of the cells, right? The only thing that changed was how we assimilating the metals based on the new orbit. All of this is pre-Adamic history, right? A lot of this you can find in the Holy Tablets of Malachi York, where he's talking about pre-Adamic history and the ancient application of the sciences in the construction of the matrix. Right.
So some people say we were blue-black. What's the deal with this whole blue-black thing? And because you hear a lot about these blue beings.
Okay, so
that you share with every female you come in contact where you see her at, they're about to shut the whole world down. And you looking at the very reason why they're about to shut the whole world down. So I'm about to tell y'all the mechanics of the ritual and the little bit about the African conjure. Now, the first part about African conjures that you have to understand that the African conjure is rooted in the melanated being the immune system of the planet. Anytime there is something that does not belong here, we have a system. Hey, Brianna, we have a system in play to root out whatever don't belong and get it out of here. But sometimes the force that we are facing is greater than anything we ever seen before. We have a remedy for that. It's called suffering. It's the same thing as going to the weight pit in the joint, lifting weights to get stronger for when you get out. It's suffering. In the suffering, you build strength. Stop bitching about oppression. It was part of a calculated plan to get rid of some shit you don't want here. Stop worrying about the prejudice, because that's part of the plan to break the wickedness. The prejudice was what they used to keep us divided. The immune system got T cells. These T cells is the equivalent commanders of an army. Now, pay attention. Sister Tainetta Muhammad designed the Dress 19. It is specifically from source for the purpose of the ritual that the women will be doing. There will be some changes according to the ranking of the women in their training, but the color will remain white except for the Queen Mother Priestess, who will sit in the Madonna seat, currently being held by Khadija Muhammad or Khadija Farrakhan. So she is the only one allowed to represent the Dark Mother. Now, I have to give y'all some background history that I really don't want to get into for this, but it's necessary. When you look at the nuns, high-ranking nuns wear white with the black bib. The rank and file of the nunnery wear black with a white bib. It's exactly reversed. And the Black Madonna is dressed in white, which is exactly reversed. She's supposed to wear black. The only one who's supposed to wear the black is the one who sits at the Madonna seat. So there are women in the Nation of Islam that has been already prepared. Understand, they already prepared to begin the discipline training for the upcoming ritual in order to get everything focused and get the greatest and maximum benefit from the methodology in play. So we have done a lot of work in the background. Nobody's seen. That's why the book says he's going to come like a thief in the night, creeping through the back door with the lights out. I'm the Dark Walker, the Great Destroyer. But destruction doesn't always have to be physical. In the spirit realm, we destroy a rogue ideology that caused the physical realm to display anomalies unfit for human survival. Now, I'm trying not to get too technical with this stuff, because I can get technical and I need people of all levels to be able to get what I'm saying. So I have to slow down and make sure I'm not feeding the information too hot, too heavy, where y'all can't really understand what I'm saying. Okay, so now, the right of the earth rights belong to the women. Women are called first. Tainetta Muhammad designed the Dress 19 specifically for the purpose. Specifically for the purpose. It's not ain't got nothing to do with making no money. It's specifically for the purpose. Okay? Then you have, like, the Sister Sika is responsible for the drum. For the duffs, as Muhammad called them. Bring the duffs. Because this is going to be part of the ritual. But I can't give y'all the ritual, but I can tell you what it entails. I can't tell y'all exactly details of what to do, because it has to go through a refinement by the matriarchs. They have to refine the ritual because I'm giving it to them in masculine form. They have to effeminize it in order for it to work. They have to revert it back to its original frequency in order for it to work, the entire ritual. At this point, I'm only allowed to tell y'all some of the most fundamental and basic parts of the ritual and biological response and how it's rooted in science. So, when we understand the geography of the earth, we will know, according to our ancestral heritage, that the earth has a right hand only. That's because that's called the mother line. And the right hand is always facing to the north in this fashion. And this is why they always tell you to raise your right hand and swear to God on the Bible. Because they're trying to trick you into an artificial oath. And that's exactly what they do when you take the oath. It's an artificial oath used to deceive you into destroying yourself for the system. So now, the earth also has a vagina, yoni. It's a body of water in South Africa. Credo Mutwa will tell the priestesses when they get there where it's at. It's mentioned and shown a picture of it in one of his videos that's on YouTube currently, and I'm probably going to look for it because I need to show it to the sisters. Now, what that that body of water is a fresh body of water that they poured sacrificial bloods in to contaminate a long time ago in order to throw the energy off and make the women be in a drunken stupor because the men didn't protect the water. We didn't protect the fresh water. That is the same symbolism as us allowing our women to freely get raped. It's symbolically the exact same thing when we allowed them to pour the byproducts of male fecal matter mixed with swine blood, mixed with other chemicals that I don't really want to get into the yoni of the earth and contaminated it, and then they cut down the tree. The tree of life is what it was called. They done a movie called Avatar and kept the name exactly the same. Iwas. Now, Iwas is mentioned by Aleister Crowley as giving him the information. Be not deceived. We use everything that work. And anything that don't work, we use it for the fact that it don't work in order to keep it in its proper place. If it come a time we can use it, we will use it. Right now, what you are seeing in play in real time in the world is actual culmination of a prolonged system of war dance of what they call bumps and knocks of masters to break the chains of slavery. It's not easy. So, I would never be so arrogant as to think I did this by myself because I got the lens of many masters to look on. So now I'm standing on the shoulder of giants on the shoulder of giants on the shoulders of giants. I'm just the top of the pyramid because I was the last one to be able to read it all. Now, in this ritual, you will go into the African story of the 7 African powers, and you will see that Yemaya, she represents the young maiden, was slighted because they said that they didn't need her. And she went to the moon, and she sat and waited, and then everything went fucked up on earth because she was the expression of love. Now, that is an African story just to tell you about mitochondrial activation and deactivation. We tell the story, but the story don't never mean what the surface of it say. Only certain people can read it. So the story is, in the earth sense, in real time, away from the legend and the messages in the conjure is this. When the women's mitochondrial resync back to earth mitochondrial, we need early girls within their first couple of months of puberty to go in their menses into the yoni of the earth to send in the healing energies of the freshly stripped uteral wall. It carries with it a frequency that will make the earth start to heal. And they're supposed to do it in cycles. The women gonna know how it's supposed to be done. I can't go into the details of how, but I can tell you some of the what. There is also streams, rivers, creeks all over the world of fresh water that represent the veins. That represent the veins. So before you spill fresh water into the sea, that's what you're doing. You're recycling it. So it goes into the sea and becomes salt water. Now, when the women begin to get the ritual, they go to fresh water first. As they go through the week of the ritual, closing out the week, the women to the salt water goes into the water last. The science to what this does is called the 100 monkey effect. Critical mass in physics, it's critical mass, and you controlling the flow of the energy by moving in the waves toward the salt water. Yes, you baptizing the earth. Now, the biological effects or the physiological effect on the female is going to be this. When you wade in the water and you performing the ritual, you're going to reach a very heightened state of ecstasy. This is going to cause you to have massive climaxes repeatedly because your earth is calling the healing energies through your womb. And your womb is going to pour out a significant amount of secretion. We call it skeeting. But this is how you healing your Mother Earth. You giving her the energy to heal herself is what you doing. You are doing the same thing that the paramedic do on a heart attack victim when they hit him with the shock. You sparking her heart back to beat. The grid is flipped. So Shoe and Tough Nut is back in balance. Now mama just got to wake all the way up because she's still in the slumber because she ain't shrugged yet. You're going to know when she shrugged because you're going to have rolling earthquakes. But only the women can do it. Now, men have a very particular and specific job because there will be imposters that's male in gender that's going to try to infiltrate to fuck the energy up. The women is just supposed to point at him, and the men is supposed to, as politely and aggressively and memorably as possible, get him to fuck out they mix. Now, I told y'all that in the Right of the Earth rights. If he get a little blood upside his head so where he shouldn't have been in there, he better be happy to escape with his life. Because if the women have to cut loose on him because ain't no men around, they are going to be flipped on in the full collie mode. And then that's going to have a whole different effect. So if the men want this shit to go right, they will not let a male interject his energy into this field while no man fishing on the lakes, no little boys fishing in the creeks, none of this shit while they doing the ritual. Men ought to stay away from the bodies of fresh water other than to secure the women. That's it. So what do? All of the egos are turning off, so there ain't going to be that many people as y'all think. Okay? So now, when I give them back the purified rights, the rights of Asahuf is what it's called, they will reclaim the Vatican, they will reclaim Buckingham Palace, they will reclaim Mecca, and they will reclaim Kemet. And we will reclaim the entire planet as a collective in short order. Now, y'all don't have to believe me. I'm not really concerned with that. I just have to give y'all the message. Y'all can do with it what y'all want to do with it. Yep, that's part of the program, Raphael, because there's a women's movement. If you go and check, I'm going to tell you this. There's not one woman that does not have an underlying workplace agenda that's a CEO. For example, Mary Barra's is family in the workplace was hers. And it matches Cindy Estrada, who is the UAW, only one that ain't dirty. She the only one that ain't dirty. Hold on 1 second while I let the dog out. Okay, so in the UAW side, Cindy Estrada, the only one clean, but we knew she was clean when she got hired in because that was what she went there for. You said, do I got the process, but I can't do it. I'm not allowed to physically participate in the process. Yep. There's going to be women from every walks of life taking over leadership positions in companies, partially because the men have held them from taking those positions, sucked up all the money from them, and did never allow the women to have equal opportunity of advancement in the workplace. So that was one of the grievances. All of the women that's part of something, go look. If you look in their history, it'll tell you. Look in their profile, it'll tell you what they've been fighting for outside of the workplace that's related to the workplace. They all got an issue. That's called a grievance. So from here, when they do the ritual, you're going to reach a heightened state of euphoria. You're going to get messages from source, and it's going to start, anybody that ain't right, it's going to balance them out or annihilate them. If they too far from being balanced, whatever direction they in, that's the way they get knocked all the way that way. You're not going to be able to not do your self-work and your self-development and tolerate the frequency. It's going to move you automatically. Yeah. And so I've been waiting on Sika to contact me again. Anybody don't believe me, all I gotta do is ask Portia, because we had a discussion about I was waiting on Sika to contact me